So, yeah, someone said nice hat. So there is a story. The reason I wore this, some of you know I have a lot of hats. So I'm kind of a hat guy. And this hat has a great story. It's from Hatch Mercantile in Hatch, New Mexico. And some of you know that I started out as a family practice doc in a little health center in Hatch. And their Hatch Mercantile was there. And I went in the store and talked to Mr. Rosen. And I was in my late 20s, and I called him Mr. Rosen. We had the Mercantile there, and I said, what are in all those old hat boxes? And he said, old hats. So, you know, men's hat, it's a longer story. Men's hats have gone out of style in the 60s after the Kennedy inauguration, and he had boxes full of old Stetsons that had never been sold. They were new, and they had prices marked on the outside, you know, $10.95, $12.95. And I said, how much are those? And he said, they're marked. So I bought this hat in the late 70s for $12.95. There's a Royal Stetson. And what did you call it? It's an open road. It's an open road, yeah. So it's a great...
Buy them in return.
Yeah, there's no place in So the rest of the story is when I was in Hatch, I made friends with a couple guys who were the pharmacy consultants down at the prison where I worked as well. And they told me about this great company they worked for and how much they loved that company. And I'm still friends with those guys. I'm going to see one this weekend down in Tucson. They still do ones in Philly. They both do not-for-profit healthcare around the world. And they work for PMS. And they always said, someday you should work for PMS because it's a great company. And we love what we do. We have a great mission. And, you know, it really turns out that was true, as I think you can tell, that I've stayed here 10 years. And so, again, some of this repeats what we said at the board meeting, but for those of you who didn't hear it, there are lots of things I'm really passionate about. And most of you know me as pretty laid back and don't think of me as probably passionate about anything, but that's another whole story. So I'm very passionate about serving the underserved, including Head Start. So that makes PMS a great fit for me. I'm very passionate about primary care. Just can people, what I still call getting to the doctor, whether it's a nurse practitioner or PA, that's a whole other issue. Can people get to the doctor? And then once they get to the doctor, you know, lots of times they really need behavioral health care. Lots of times they need dental care. And that's really important. That's what we do here. And just historically, we added behavioral health and dental before I left Hatch years and years ago. So this is one of those lifetime projects. And then I'm really passionate about getting those clinicians information. I think we've done a great job getting folks data, and over the next year or so I'm going to see that we really get them information, and I think that's the great new place for PMS to go, is getting their clinicians information rather than just lists. And so just in closing, I want to thank you all because this so fits with what's important to me. So why am I leaving? You know, it all works, right? I think about that sometime. I was here over the weekend and took some things out of the office, and it was very, I'll use the word. I took some of my things. That's good. That's good. That's haunting me for a decade. But anyway, so I really think maybe it's a nice way to close. You know, I started off and decided to go to medical school, you know, way too long ago to talk about, but 40 years ago. And you know what? It's a great way to end my career for 8 or 10 years, is seeing patients again and being a doc. And that's really why I'm leaving being the medical director here, because I really want to simply try to see patients for a few years. And, you know, a nice opportunity came up for me here in town. So just leave it at that. I didn't have I've said everyone, I didn't have a big fight with Steve or a big fight with Doug, you know, although it could happen. But really just, you know, you get to a certain age, it's time to go do something else, and that's what I'm going to do. So thank you all very much.